Hello, good morning and welcome to New Forest Morphs on our daily vlog and journey. Jared's joining me today, father and son outfit here. We've been going together for about 18 months and we're enjoying the journey, and just wanted to thank everyone for your love and support over the last videos we put out. I know that the last video was well received, so thank you for your good comments. Just to give you an update, I had a lovely meeting with Jayne at Duchy Royal Pythons yesterday. She was a whiz on technology. We had some technical issues to start with in typical New Forest style, but we managed to get through them, and Jayne has got hopefully a copy of all the material her end, so she'll be sending that to me shortly. And thank you, Jayne, it was a lovely meeting, lovely to meet your snakes, and we'll be sending you out some stickers and t-shirts. Anyone that comes on the show, Snake Tape, gets a free t-shirt, free hat. Let us know what hat you'd like, Jayne, whether you want the, talking of hats, I better put mine on, that's the one I like. And the other one we've got, Jared, is a, what's it called again?
Snapback.
Snapback, so we've got two. So we'll get those out as soon as lockdown's over, and looking forward to coming down to see you, Jayne, when we get a chance, when it's safe to travel. So today we're going to be doing our pairing. We had a lovely experience this morning. Jared walked into the snake pit and he could smell a rat, couldn't you, Jared? And he came back into the office and said, "Dad, there's something that's rancid in there."
I walked in and nearly threw up.
It was bad. I mean, this is probably the worst
old.
smell I've ever had in my life, because it was my fault, because I put hides in all the big girls, and Mulan had left a rat at the very back of her rub, and I didn't notice it yesterday, so of course I didn't realise that there was a dead rat that was sat on the mat. And it's the worst. Everyone out there that's had the experience, it's the worst ever smell you can imagine. And I can see why Jared likes grapefruit in his what do you put in that, Jared?
The diffuser.
Diffuser. Jared put some grapefruit in there, and I came in, soldiered up, masked up, gloved up, spent the first half an hour just getting rid of that smell. We gave the girl a bath. Mulan's nice and clean now, but she was smelling of it, and you know, the whole thing, I had to clean the whole of the rub out with hot water and lots of reptile-friendly disinfectant. So anyway, enough of that. It was not the best start to the day, was it, Jared? But we were just relieved that it was a rat and nothing else, because the worst case scenario is to walking in and finding a dead snake, and that would be a lot worse. So we're pretty pleased that it was a rat in the end, even though I know it wasn't very pleasant to deal with. Today is breeding day, and we've got a strategy for helping Queenie to settle in, haven't we, Jared? What was your idea yesterday that we did?
So she ate food the first time we got her, and then she wouldn't eat food anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes a good way to get a female kick-started on food is to put a male in with her. And she thinks, oh, it's breeding season, I need to start bulking up, putting some weight on, and she might start eating food.
Yeah.
So we've paired together the clown with our pastel clown Queenie.
So Jokey's in there with Queenie. Now she's nearly 3 kilograms. I wouldn't do it with a really underweight female. So first of all, if you're going to go this approach to encourage her to get onto food, she's got to be at a certain weight to do that, just to put a caveat in there, because I wouldn't want anyone to think, oh, I've got a 1200 gram girl, I want to breed with her, I'll put a male in there. And if you do that, I think that's a bad approach. But if you've got a big girl that needs to get back onto food, who's quite capable of holding her own, then putting a male in there might stimulate her to get into her feeding instincts. Now she's settling quite nicely now. She's had a couple of meals, so we know that she will eat, but we want to just accelerate her metabolism and get her going. And sometimes a hormonal change where a male comes on the scene and they're tail-to-tailing. Jared had a little sneak preview. Why don't we have a quick look at that one first, Jared, and then we'll go through the pairings. So Queenie and Joker are together. So let's see how they're doing, Jared. Tail-to-tailing it, and some activity there. She's a bit shy, isn't she?
Yeah.
But Joker might help her come out of her bubble and realise that she's part of the family here. And he'll stimulate her, and he'll stimulate all the other snakes that are going to be going together shortly. But there you go, they're head to head and tail to tailing. We won't disturb them because they've only been in for one night together. We know that Joker's a proven stud, so it might just get her activated. So that's the strategy on that one. Be interested to know if anyone else has got any other ideas on that. So Jared, let's go through the other pairings. So what are we going to be doing today?
Okay, so we'll start with a lesser spot nose.
Lesser spot nose Bambi. So you have
his hide.
He's in his hide, so we'll just pop him out and have a little look. Beautiful animal. Isn't he lovely, Jared? Butter.
Yeah.
He's a butter spot nose.
A lesser spot nose.
A lesser spot nose or a butter.
I mean, they're pretty much.
It looks very buttery to me. By the way, Jayne had a beautiful butter leopard we're going to show on Thursday night.
Nice.
and it's a butter lesser leopard. I've never seen such a beautiful animal as that, Jad. It was absolutely gorgeous, and it's a female that's hopefully going to go for her. So
he's going with the pastel twilight.
Pastel twilight Venus. So that's twilight, spot nose, pastel, and cinnamon all mixed together.
Well, twilight's cinnamon spot nose, but
right.
She's pastel cinnamon spot nose.
There you go. You've locked before, and we're hopefully going to see them lock again. She's got another few months before she's ready. But just look at the behaviour. When you put two snakes together that are not freaking out, and they're heading it, and his body's on her straight away, that's a good indicator that there's compatibility. So you always put them together and study compatibility. We could put in the head cam, but we're backing into our fishing at the moment, so I'm using my fishing cameras at the moment. We must remember to buy one for the snake picture, because people did love seeing the...
Yeah, get a little GoPro or something because they're smaller.
Should we get a little GoPro or something? We'll see what we can do, but those two are together. Then the next pairing, just wash my hands, Jad, you get the pairings out.
Next one's the, it's the cinnamon pied Elvis to the yellow belly pied Ray.
What are we trying to achieve there, Jad?
Cinnamon yellow belly pieds. So there's your big girl, yellow belly pied. And that's
I must
a
admit,
cinnamon
I'm
pied.
half tempted to see whether the dreamsicle male is up for it, because I want to produce some heads, but we'll leave them as they are. Oh, you've done it already?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jad. Good.
Next one's going to be Mojave Ultramel
Titus, one of my favourite boys. I need to do a 5 favourite boy video. I did the 4 favourite girls. I should do a 4 favourite boy video at some point. Let us know if you want me to do that, and we can do that in the future. So, here we go.
And he's going in with the Phantom.
Yeah, we always inspect to make sure everything's healthy before we pair them. That's a very important point. A lot of people don't do it, but you should. What's the important thing about doing an inspection before you pair, Jared?
You just don't want any diseases or anything passed on.
Yeah, if there's any mites or any diseases on a snake, you're just going to flood your collection with the breeding rotation. So you check. Both the female and the male should always be carefully checked before you pair as part of a precautionary measure. So let's see the behaviour at the moment. He's normally very, very good, isn't he?
Yeah, I think she's almost getting ready to go though. So
yeah,
I mean she's getting very fat.
Yeah.
She hasn't eaten food for the last week. So.
Yeah, and we're aiming for Purple Passion's 100% Hector Ultramales that we're after there. And the last one, Jared? Is it 4 we're doing today?
Yeah.
2 more.
So,
do you want to do the next one while I wash my hands?
Yeah. Oh no, it's just one more.
Yeah, do you want to do that last one?
Sure. That's our bell.
Be careful because he can strike, Jared.
No, that's
very
alright.
hissy. Yeah. Jared,
He's going in with Cappuccino.
Cappuccino. This could be their last lot before she ovulates, so could be a very, very important lot, this one.
We'll just pop those two in together.
Yeah, they're totally compatible, Jared. Very happy animals together, aren't they?
Yeah, they lock every
Jared.
time.
Looks like she's really bulking out. Look at the eggs.
Yeah.
See it? Right, so there's the pairings for the day. So we're going to talk about running a ball python hobby stroke business and some of the techniques that we've adopted to try and get us going, because we've only been doing this a short period. I'm going to share some of our approaches. We're also going to look at what Justin Kabelka is recommending in setting up a business and some of the points of principle to incorporate into our procedures here. And Jad, let's have a chat over the table together. You started off first, didn't you? You started off with a friend of yours before I came on the scene. So tell us a bit about your journey and where it's gone, and let's pick out all the good principles that you've kind of learned yourself using our own practical experience. Then we'll draw upon the professional to help fill in the gaps.
To start off with, I have always loved reptiles growing up, and I really, really wanted a ball python. And my wife was lovely and said that I could have one. And once I had one, as many of you will know, one's not enough. You always want to have another one after that.
That's true.
So I thought to myself, right, I can buy a second one, and if I buy a male and female, I can love the hobby and they'll just pay for themselves. Like if I produce babies, I can then sell the babies and that will produce enough money for the food and stuff.
That's why you were a student as well, you're on a limited budget, and therefore you started off with like £1,500 snakes, didn't you? You started off really quite on the low end.
Yeah, the first 2 snakes I bought cost 150 quid for both of them.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, I can breed those 2 And I love eggs, love babies. I mean, it's all very exciting to me, and that's what made me start. I wasn't really interested in the money side of it.
Yeah.
Even though I know there is potential for money in the ball python hobby.
You wanted a self-fulfilling
I just
hobby.
wanted something that would pay for itself, that I would love and enjoy.
Yeah. And I think
that's where it started.
This is what Justin recommends: is have a passion for it to start with. There's no point in going to this just from a commercial level.
If you're going for quick money, this is not the place for you.
Yeah, it's hard work, and we put in 2 or 3 hours a day to achieve what we're achieving here.
And you've got to love the snakes, otherwise you neglect them and you don't look after them.
A passion for this is so important in everything we do. If you have a passion for them and you have a natural desire to nurture them, then everything else is a bonus, isn't it, Jared? And I think I love the fact that you went that approach to start with, because it shows that you're genuine in the hobby. Whereas you get some people that look at it as an investment only, and they don't tend to survive that long if they look at it from an investment perspective. You've got to have a real passion for this, and the passion really speaks volumes for what you're doing, and the concern for the animal's welfare is paramount.
Yeah, snake comes first.
Yeah, so the money side is always secondary. It's an important part of it, because as you grow your collection, you need to generate income to keep them fed, watered, and well cared for. And so it is important, and we will talk about strategies for building up a hobby business. But the interesting thing was that you got me into it, Jared, because you started yourself. I would never ever have dreamt of buying a snake had you not done that. And then as soon as you got me hooked,
Was Emily?
Was it Emily?
Yeah. So she always wanted one of my babies, so I gave her one of my babies when I had it. And then you said, let's go get you a pied or something for Emily.
That's
and then
right.
you bought the pied and you started falling in love with them, and then started getting involved yourself.
As a family man and a father, nothing brings me more joy than spending time with my kids. And I think for me, the most important part of this hobby is bonding with my children in this hobby. It's more important than anything else. And I spend more time with Jared. Anyway, Jared and I work together day to day anyway, don't we, Jared? We've always been very close. And you were my first fishing buddy. Took you out on boats. We've gone on long journeys together. And we just had some good news. Jared's just been given an opportunity to fish with me for salmon today. Got a lovely bit of good news. And because I've got a hip problem and I hobble around the estate I fish, I just couldn't really get out there on my own, and I needed someone like Jared to support me and help me, because I'm chest wading in 2 feet of water at the moment, and it's coming up to here, and if you see me hobbling around, it's because I am trying to get myself fit. But I'm going to have to wait a long time for the operation, but bear with me, because when I do, you're going to see me in a different light. You're going to see the real dancer come out, and I might give you a dance. But anyway, enough of that. We want to talk snakes. So coming back to your journey, Jared, you talk about the passion, you talk about the love and the family connection that's so important to you.
Yeah.
How did you go about, you built your own racks. So obviously when you're starting off in the hobby and you're a student particularly, there's not a lot of cash flow about. You learn to improvise very quickly, and I saw you building, because Jared's a bit of a builder anyway. You've enjoyed carpentry at school, but you've never actually had a building qualification. No. Jared, effectively with his mate, built this facility, which I take my hat off to you, with a bit of support from the family as well. But you basically built this facility from scratch, and we're going to do a special video on that for you guys to see how to do it for half the price, because it would have cost a lot more, but we did it with our own man labour, and we learned a lot from doing it. And another part of the passion is that you buy into the hobby because you're building a facility that is your tranquil piece of happiness, a break away from the realities of the stresses of life. And everyone, I think, needs a sanctuary in life, and this is our sanctuary, isn't it, Jared? We love it. We love coming in here.
When there's not a dead rat in there.
Yeah. And last night, for the first time, because we got a signal here, we've got a Vodafone signal here, which is nowhere near as strong as the one in the house. I thought I'd try to do a live broadcast with Jayne through here. That's why we had so many technical problems, because I was just trying to get it all sorted, and Jayne helped us out, and Adam helped us out in the end. But on Thursday night, I'm doing a charity show here. So when we go live at 7 o'clock with Jayne's video, if you see me not commenting on there, I might have to get Jared to comment on the feedback, because I'm going to be doing, in our church we have young single adults from the age of 18 to 30, and there's about 30 of them out there that want to come in and explore my snakes remotely. And I promised them that I would give them an evening with me where they can pick a snake and we can bring them out and talk about them. Jared may want to join me for that, or he may prefer to maybe be on the live chat, Jared, if you're available this Thursday at 7 till 8.
I'll have to check.
Check with the missus if you are. I mean, it'd be nice if one of us can at least be there for you guys, because I know you love your live chats.
If not, we'll get back to you after.
Yeah, we'll see. I might be able to do part of it because it starts at 7:30. My chat will do. I might be able to be at the beginning of it and leave you guys to enjoy it. But it's not because I don't love you. It's because I'm serving another community. They're part of another community, so that would be exciting. And we might give you a few extra bits of video later in the week to catch up as well. So anyway, coming back to your journey, Jared, you spoke about the importance of being careful with the money from the onset, because I think if it's your first time, you don't want to commit a lot of money to something you may not fall in love with. So it's sensible to buy a couple of small, cheaper snakes to learn the craft of keeping, art and craft of keeping ball pythons, because that's what it is. It's an art and craft.
Yeah, start off with buying something you love. Like, I love how a normal looks. I think that's what I first fell in love with, and that's what I wanted. And then once I found that, I then was watching videos, looked up more morphs, realised there was other ones available.
Yeah.
Saw some near me, and I just kept buying more snakes.
Yeah, and it can become addictive to the point where you put a lot of time and energy into your snakes, and Jared certainly built up a nice small collection. And on the sideline, he was bringing snakes into the dining room and kind of helping me overcome my phobia for snakes. I had a real phobia of snakes. And eventually, when I saw Emily handling them, and she brought me the snakes and how much she fell in love with them. Now, Emily's had health issues, and I saw the snakes were healing her health. I thought, well done, Jared, for helping Emily get out of her health issues by giving her something to focus on. And I think any children out there that maybe have health issues, and any children, whether they've got health issues or not, if you can get them involved, and look at Ed and his family, look at the power of that, bringing the family together. They're all excited about their future. And that's the joy of the hobby, is you find joy by empowering others in this hobby, by giving them the information, by giving them the snakes. The real joy of this hobby is nothing to do with a bank account at all. It's all to do about relationships. Would you agree, Joe?
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah, relationships with the snakes, relationship with each other, the new friendships that we built, fantastic. So that's what I would say, is go into this with a very open mind, but reap the rewards of the real blessings of this, not necessarily commercially, but the friendships and the family pulling together. And also it gives us a point of interest during COVID, because I'm a firm believer that if we have a very strong mental positive attitude, we can get through this COVID better together than we can on our own. And therefore this channel is all about bringing people together and taking them away from the focus of the day, but focus on something positive and upbeat, and you'll get through it much better. So it's our attitude towards our challenges that really count here, Jared. And snakes give us every reason to be happy, except when you walk in on a dead rat, of course. So, any other points, Jared, you would like to share on building your collection and building your hobby business that would be useful to share with our subscribers?
Yeah, so if you're starting from scratch and you want to build a self-sustaining hobby, I'd recommend buying your females first, buying some girls, growing them up, and then choosing your male or males to go to those females.
Okay.
Make sure you buy ones you love. Don't bother making things that you think are going to make a lot of money. Make things that you love. So if there's a gene or a combination of genes that you really want, buy the things that make that. People will buy them as well. I mean, every snake's got a market out there.
Good point, Jared. So go with what you love, and your gut instincts are almost certainly the right instincts in most cases. So that's a good bit of advice.
And make sure you do your research as well. Don't just buy a snake and then think that you can do it all. Research. Make sure you understand the animal, understand what they need, what you need to do to care for them.
And there's lots of nice videos out there on setup and things. So in lockdown it's hard to spend time with experienced breeders, so you have to rely on YouTube and other things to help you. We've put out a how to care for series on our playlist, which starts with buying considerations, what to think about before you buy a snake, how to set yourself up correctly. We've got a setup video which talks about setting up the rubs, talks about temperature gradients, talks about all the nitty-gritty details that you need to really get under your belt. And I would say spend some time studying and preparing the 6 Ps, planning and preparation first. You'll have a much more positive outcome. And we'll carry on building content for you guys out there, the newcomers coming in, so hopefully you find it helpful. And even the experienced ones are adding to the mix, because they will correct us or they will give extra information that will make us even better. And since we've been YouTubing up, my own level of knowledge and experience has gone through the roof, because every day I study something new to bring you content, which there's an old saying, to teach is to learn twice. It's a Chinese proverb. And when you teach something, you reinforce what you've learned all the time. So teaching one another is a great way of reinforcing learning. And of course the snakes are the biggest teachers, because they teach us everything, don't they, Jared? And there's so much to learn, and that's what's so lovely about the hobby. Now we've only got 5 minutes left on this video, Jared. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
Just enjoy it, make the most of it.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have a nice warm room for your snakes. Make sure they've got the right temperatures.
Yeah.
Grow them on, give them good quality food.
Yes.
Don't push it, be patient. Patience is one of the biggest keys in this hobby, I think.
Yes. There's some good advice there. So patience is very key here, not to rush into things too quickly, and be willing to go with the pace of the animal rather than your own pace.
Yeah.
Is good advice.
And try not to stress out, because ball pythons are notorious for not eating sometimes, and causing issues like that. So
yeah,
don't stress out too
I
much.
stressed out when I got my first girls, because when I got into the collection,